Hello and welcome to this tutorial focused on using Python within Power BI, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. So first of all, we want to look at getting started, so installing Python if we haven't, some libraries or dependencies that we require, and using the command prompt in Windows. You may have used a terminal in Mac. We then want to look at how we can import data with a Python script, so reading CSV files with Pandas, and also importing some sample data through the scikit-learn library, predominantly used for machine learning and statistical clustering and things like that. Then we want to look at some transformations we can perform with Python scripts in the Power Query interface, so creating new tables, columns, and sorting data, and then data visualization with Python visuals. So it's very easy to download Python from the website. You would just go to python.org/downloads and we can download the latest version. That is in bug fix maintenance, so it's maybe not as far down the line as some people would prefer. You could install a previous version, but I have tested this out and 3.10 seems to work quite well without any issues. So where I am in here is in the command prompt. If you haven't used the command prompt before, you can simply type in the search bar in your Windows taskbar, CMD or command prompt, and this will pop up. So we can check the Python version by running Python and 2 hyphens and version, and that will tell us if it's installed. Then if we type where Python, we can actually see the file path. Again, if you wanted to view the file path of Python, you could find it in your file explorer or your search bar and simply open the file location and right click with Shift and you will be able to copy the file path also. Now that may not be essential, but when we go into File and we go into our options and settings, in our Python scripting, we need to make sure that Python is set to the correct path. I wouldn't worry too much about detected Python IDEs, as long as the path, so that Power BI essentially knows where to access Python is correct, that's fine. Now we do need to install a few dependencies or libraries. So first of all, we can use the command pip install. If you're using Conda, you can use Conda install. You're going to see that I've got these installed, that's fine. But if you hadn't, it would simply install these packages and you can use them. So Pandas for data transformation, we'll need Matplotlib and Seaborn for data visualization. You can install scikit-learn again for importing sample sort of machine learning, data science data. And that may do us for now for everything that we require. Obviously, if you use different libraries, you may need to install other packages, but it's very simple to do so. Now, the first stage, we can actually get data and import it using a Python script. So let's say if we had a CSV and we're comfortable with Python, we have to import Pandas. We already have it installed in our system, but we have to import it within this script. So we do that first of all, and we just alias it as PD because it's easier to reference later on with an alias or a different name. And we can just say that correlation, this is going to be our data set, is equal to the PD pandas.read function with the CSV and simply supply the file path of that CSV file. Now once we have our data loaded in from the Python script and we go into data source settings and click on Python, it's just important to check that privacy level is set to public if we intend to use this within the Power BI service, just so that there's no issues later on. So now we've went into Power Query Editor, our transform data, and when we click the transform tab, there's an option at the far right to run a Python script. It's worth noting it says the value dataset holds the input data for the script, so we need to bear that in mind. But we can start to do some basic transformations, and we can include much more than one transformation in this script. So we're saying that country, we want to create a country table, and that's equal to the country and GDP columns from our initial correlation table. And there we go, it's as simple as that to create a separate table. Now if I come out of there and I just go back into our initial correlation, I can create a new column from existing columns within our dataset. So if I use dataset, a new column within the square brackets is equal to dataset country. We use the addition operator spaces on either side of is and quotation marks, and we can then use the adjusted satisfaction, and we map that as a string value. Then we can create a new column that simply concatenates the values from the country and the adjusted satisfaction score. So if we look, we have our country value there, our adjusted satisfaction next to it. So Armenia would be a 37, and we can see that we have a new column, name new column, for example, and we can say, we can create a string value with some concatenation very easily. Now we can delete those steps just to show that we can actually create more than one transformation in a single script. So we could also, in this example, look to sort our values with Python, which is quite interesting. We could use the happy score, because really that's the predominant metric here. And we can use the script, and by saying ascending is equal to false, that essentially sorts things in descending values, so from highest value to lowest. So basically the highest performing countries by happy score. So instead of showing our list of countries in alphabetical order, it should show Switzerland first, because that is the country with the highest happy score in this data set. And you'll see that, essentially we have countries in a good sorting value, a logical sorting value, by the happiest countries first. So now that we've looked at importing data with Python scripts for transformation, we can look at the libraries that we use for visualization. These will be Matplotlib and Seaborn in this tutorial. Now, Matplotlib is sort of the foundation of our Python visualizations in Power BI. It's exceptionally popular for data science and 2D static charts, more advanced charts, whilst being user-friendly, and these can often be imported into sort of apps or GUI toolkits associated with data science predominantly. Now, Seaborn is much more geared towards statistical visualization. You can see a lot more complex charts and graphs, but when you do need a visualization that maybe isn't a custom visualization for those more complex use cases, this can be incredibly handy. You can see an example of a pair plot there. So it's helpful to know. Now, before we move on to creating visualizations with Python, with the Python visualization within Power BI, we can look at, I predominantly use the IDE Atom. And you can see this is just an example of me with some similar data that we'll use to create a visualization. I'm just testing this first in an IDE, or my development environment. We can also use things like Google Colab or Jupyter Notebooks if you want to quickly test things, but that IDE helps you with code completion and really understanding whether things are going to work before you take it into Power BI, because the editor isn't as advanced. Now, to start with this Python visualization, fairly simple. We click on the relevant visual, and we just need to click on the columns that we're going to rely on, and we can go ahead now. We need to import matplotlib.pyplot, a sub-library there, and this is sort of fundamental whenever we're visualizing data in Python. Now, we're not going to focus too much on the actual visualizations, but we're looking at sort of what's possible with Python, and it does extend beyond this. We can even look at things like machine learning and more data science orientated things, but this covers the sort of a general overview. So we can run a few lines here. We've got dataset.plot. We're stating that it's a scatter. We want to use the happy score on the x-axis, average income on the y-axis. The color's orange. For those data points, we, as standard, would get circles. And we get something that looks like this. We add a title, so we can get rid of the Power BI formatted title, and we just show it. So pretty simple to start off with. We can change the marker. We can change the alpha, so the way that the color's presented, and get something that looks a bit sleeker. We can adjust the layout so that we fix any margin issues automatically, and that works quite well. And that's how simple it is to create a basic scatter plot. Now, if you did want to advance this, there's so much documentation on Matplotlib, and this has been used a lot in the data science community. So you could easily advance on any sort of visual and take this into Power BI. There are some nuances, but these are quickly discovered when you start playing around with Python in Power BI. So we can actually go back to the standard get data and use a Python script again to automatically get sample data from one of the libraries that we installed earlier via pip, which was scikit-learn. So we can get that from sklearn.datasets. We can load the iris dataset, which is very popular if you've ever played around with machine learning or AI, a group of clustered data around flowers. And we can just import this. So you can use this script, it will work exactly the same, and import the iris data so you've got some automatic data to play around with. And we can just take that in as a data frame. That's standard in Power BI. We need to do that when using Python. And yeah, just repeat this script and we can go ahead and we should be presented with iris data. And again, I've just named that iris for coming into our Power BI or Power Query environment. So when we load this up, we'll get iris, and you can see that essentially there's sepal length, width, petal length, and width. And we can look at how this correlates to each other. So we can look at some of the more statistical methods of analyzing our data. It's important to note that scikit-learn is one of the premier machine learning and predictive data analytics libraries available within Python, and it's often used for things like clustering, regression, statistical modeling, and so on. So again, we need to import Matplotlib and Seaborn, and we can load a Seaborn heat map, which we said was some more statistical library. And again, we're going to specify that as a correlation heat map. The color map, we're just going to set it to blues. You can research that. There's plenty of different color combinations. Annote, so annotation to true, and that tight layout will give us the text that we require over the heat map to show the correlation. Now you notice that it comes off a bit of a funny size. I've found this to happen when using Python scripts within Power BI. We can correct that by supplying a title within the Python visual. And you can see here, now we can look at the correlation between different elements. So you would expect if a petal length is high, we would expect the width, the corresponding width, to also display as high. And you can see how each of these components reacts to each other. And again, we can see that if the sepal width doesn't necessarily have a correspondence on the sepal length either. So it's a good way to sort of show correlation for some more of those trickier edge cases potentially when working in Power BI. And as you can see, the code is fairly simple. We can advance this again by implementing things like line width, line color, maybe some different color schemes. This is just blues and purples. And you can see all we've really done here is we've added in a line color element, added some line width, and we've changed the color scheme, and it's already improved dramatically. But there's not an awful lot we have to do to create a powerful correlation heat map. So we're going to look at one more visualization. Using iris, we're going to take the petal width and sepal length. And again, we're going to look at a purely Matplotlib visualization here, looking at Hexbins. So a slightly more advanced visualization where we can actually show the clustering of data points, but it's very simple to set up. Again, as I said, this is not the be all and end all of Python in Power BI. There are more advanced things that we can do, but for now, looking at importing, transforming, and visualization is a good place to start. And you can explore a lot of these through really thorough documentation online on Matplotlib and Seaborn. Whereas the Power BI side of things, integrating Python maybe isn't as complete, but you can sort of view things at source. So we can use plt.hexbin. We can specify the points we're using from our data set, because remember, we store it in dataset when it comes into Power BI. Color map, BUPU is fairly solid. That's what we used in the final stages of the correlation heat map. We can set a grid size, and the CB is just equal. That's the variable we use for the color bar. So that will be the sort of legend color bar with the cluster points. So we can set a label just as cluster points alongside that, and a font size. We can set a label for the X and y-axis simply as well, sepal length, and we'll use petal width. Again, we can specify a font size. We can use a title, so we'll set a title. That can just be iris hexagonal binning. Again, we need to specify a font size there. And we can go ahead and perform the last stages of this script that we're going to use. So again, tight layout, fix some of our margins automatically, and we will show that. So we've got a fairly simple script, not many lines of code, and we can go and sort of display this so it's easier to see. And you can do that by just simply clicking on and off the visual to get rid of that script editor and bring it back as well by clicking on the visual. But you can see here the cluster points, they span up to where they're heaviest, and that's the darkest colors. So we can see at exactly which points we have a cluster of data, of those flowers of that data. So that's very helpful to actually view clusters within 2D graphs. So it's another great option we can use when we're maybe wanting to show things of a more complex nature. And you can see the sort of lighter points and where we would expect to see clusters of data within our dataset, and visualize that very quickly in an exploratory manner. So as usual, if you like this tutorial, find it helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and good luck exploring Python within Power BI.